Well, it wouldn't be a video without this one jumping in, would it? So you may have just noticed I have literally just put up a post for my very first Watch Your Language 6-week immersion. So not only will I be starting the Watch Your Language Schools program in May, I've been working on a small group coaching program for 6 weeks as well for the bigger kids. So I've had a few questions already on what is the BEHERE method. So in my book, I really dive into this method because over many years of figuring it out and still figuring it out, you know, life is just this process of figuring it out. I don't believe any of us are going to have it all figured out. But this is something that's really helped me over the years, really become curious about the way that I'm speaking to myself, about the things that are happening in my body and the somatic responses, and actually thank whatever it is that shows up and go, you know what is it that I actually need in this moment to offer myself a sense of kindness and compassion so that I can actually move forward and have more space, more clarity, and the ability to treat my body with kindness and love rather than judgment and comparison. So the BEHERE method goes like this. The B stands for body. When we have a body, all of us have this amazing teacher that is constantly giving us feedback, constantly. But we're all too busy with stuff. We're going from one thing to the next all the time. We're overwhelmed. We're too fast. We have one appointment after the next. We have no time. Myself included, I'm not immune to this. It's just recognizing what's going on. When we have so much going on, it is really difficult to listen to what our bodies are here to tell us. So our first topic as such, or first week, will be actually learning to understand our nervous system, to understand what happens when we're faced with a situation unfolding in front of us in an environment, or when we wake up and look at ourselves in the morning and we start to straight away unravel into the self-sabotaging thoughts and the dialogue of not enough. It's in that moment you're going to actually have a somatic response in your body. And if you can pick up on that in that moment, you can actually take a breath and you can offer yourself a sense of compassion, and it softens down your body and your nervous system, which means that your body is in flow, things move properly, and you feel well. Second week stands for emotions. I don't know if you're like me, but I know that from a lot of people that I speak to, men included, we were actually taught to suppress our emotions and not feel them. And the beautiful thing is there's so much more information of this coming out now, but when we suppress these emotions, they get stuck inside of us. And nothing is meant to be suppressed. Nothing is meant to be held onto, and it doesn't just go away if we push it down. So our emotions are a huge part of us. And when we allow ourselves to feel them and experience them with compassion and kindness and actually acknowledge them and move through them, then we don't end up with this stuck energy in our system. We don't end up with resentment. We don't end up with anger. We don't end up with this fear of wanting to run or numb from the stuff that we've pushed down. So we really dive into just experience our emotions, getting to understand that things are changing around us all the time. The ride is not meant to be smooth and easy and happy all the time. It goes up, it goes down. But if we let ourselves experience the highs of the wave and the lows of the wave, just as it is, without trying to change it or fix it or numb or run from it, we actually allow ourselves to move through it without storing it. The third one is H, which is our heart space. Because we are in a world where it is so hectic all the time and so busy, we get to a certain point in our lives and go, oh my goodness, what is my purpose? What am I here for? But you don't need to figure out your purpose. You already know that. But we've just put so many layers on top of that, and we carry so many labels that we've forgotten to listen to what it is that we need in our heart and what our hearts are telling us to do to move forward. So that's a really big part of this program, is actually coming back to your heart space and honoring this place of you, learning to say no when it doesn't feel right. Go, you know what, I actually need to honor my self-care and I need to put myself first. Rather than being a yes person, rather than being a people pleaser, stepping away from this perfection that we have felt we have needed to honor for so long. It's coming back to this space of you and empowering what feels good and right in your heart so that you have space, clarity and you feel more energized every single morning when you wake up. And it comes down to feeling grateful and appreciative for everything that unfolds in front of our life, for just having this life. It's a really big part of it. The E after that one, that stands for our energy. So when I am in front of somebody, I'm aware that my energy is going to affect that person and vice versa. So I want to make sure that I be open to that person. I want to make sure that I offer a space of nurturing, that I don't go in with closed shoulders, that I offer a space where that person can also mirror back to me what it is that I want to see. Our energy is so important. If we are operating out of a sense of lack, or I'll be happy when, or when I reach this dress size, I'll be happy. When I have this partner, I'll be happy. Or when I make this money, I'll be happy. That is coming from a place of need and want and lack. And we are telling the universe that we're coming from a sense of lack, that we don't feel worthy. So it's about empowering ourselves with the energy and actually stepping into our higher self and going, you know what, it is now my time to put myself first. And you just wait to see what happens. When you start to put yourself first, everything starts to fall in place for you. It becomes so much easier. You move into flow and it almost becomes effortless. It's when we get in our own way that we start to block the flow of the universe, and again we move into fear, and that's when we start to again put on this cape of unworthiness and a sense of lack. And it's just such an important part to bring into that. So really tuning into our energy is important. And again, when you vibe high, you're going to give permission for others to do the same. The R is learning to respond, not react. So when we're on autopilot, we are in reactivity. We're judgmental, we're critical, we blame others, we judge ourselves, we're constantly looking around us, or our ego is getting in the way to find or fix a certain problem, right? When we can be responsive, it means that we can respond in the moment. So it means we're present. It means that we have a choice to make a decision to be kind. So when we are reactive, generally we are just using firing and wiring the same neurons that we've done for years and years and years that create the same experience, the same reaction, the same words, the same thoughts, and the same emotions that we always do. And they not necessarily are the best choices for us to do. So it's about learning to come into that state of presence. How can I respond, not react? The last one is for empower, right? When we empower ourselves with knowledge, that was the game changer for me. When I was at rock bottom myself, I had to understand what was going on in my brain. So just learning about what actually happens when we think a thought, right? When we speak the same words to ourselves day in, day out, we are just giving fuel to the fire. We're firing and wiring the same neurons that we have done for years and years and years that have formed a huge synaptic connection and a cluster that is so well practiced that our body knows how to do it better than our brain. Just by understanding that, we then get a little moment where we're like, okay, so if I choose differently here in this certain situation, if I am present and if I can make a choice to respond with compassion and kindness, we then start to form a new synaptic connection. It's definitely not as familiar, but with practice, repetition, and consistency of firing, wiring that new thought, we start to change ourselves chemically and also physiologically. 6 weeks. I'm after 5 people. I've already had some inquiries already. I really want to know from you though. I do have a location. I'd love to do this face-to-face, but if there's anybody who's interested online, please let me know, get back to me. It will be starting in May. It is 6 weeks of a commitment, Friday night, 6 o'clock to 7:15 p.m. Please register your interest now. And I cannot wait. I'm so ready to do this. I'm actually busting at the seams. My book is nearly ready. I actually had an accidental day off today with my car going in to get a service, which actually forced me to have a day off, which allowed me to finish this, which is really, really cool. So these things all happen for a reason. So hit me up, send me a DM if you're interested. I'll get more information out on this next week. But I'm really hanging to get this started and I cannot wait to start this with you.